Welcome back, everybody. It is I, your host, Ryan Westa, with Neanderthal Podcast, and we have a little collaboration with a YouTuber by the channel name JoeK Music, and he does like vlogs, I guess, if you will, of like the underground hip hop scene. And about a year ago, his channel really blew up when he started talking about strange music and some of their artists, and how some of them were stealing from other artists. What was the word with some of them getting fired or not getting fired, other ones going to different labels. There's just a lot of drama, and his channel really blew up because people were just super interested in Tech Nine's group, and the other owner of Travis O'Gwyn, who owns, is just a lot of people have got some things to say about him, and his channel blew up, and I've been wanting to talk to him ever since then. And after having a conversation last week with a rapper, and he works with some of the strange music artists, I pressed him on one of the controversies, and it just kind of got the ball rolling in my head to like, oh yeah, let's go back and let's see if JoeK wants to come on, and let's get a good conversation with him. Maybe we can collaborate, and we did. And I hope you enjoy this conversation. It was a lot of fun, and here we go. Enjoy. Boom, schlock, boom. Oh, shoot. I forgot to take care of business. Follow him on YouTube, JoeK Music, of course. And if you want to support me, you can still get that Patreon, patreon.com/Neanderthal Podcast. And that's all I got to say. Boom. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Inner Talk Podcast. We'll no topic is off limits. Now here's your host, my daddy, and Roy the Soul. Thank you for coming to the podcast. Boom, swat, boom.
In 3, 2, 1, Josh K Music is joining me, everybody. This is a big treat for me. I have been listening to you. I wanted to ask you almost a year ago to have you come on the podcast, but I was very hesitant to ask because, like, in my mind, I get in my head a lot, and sometimes I'm like, no, this guy's too big, or like, who am I? You know what I mean? Because you're like,
oh, that's funny,
but compared to like what I'm seeing, I'm like, he's gonna look at my YouTube, and it's nothing near like his strange music and Godimus videos are like blowing up right now. And also, I don't ever want to come off as a clout chaser, so I didn't want to be like, oh, now that he's blowing up, now I want to be on there. Like, so at least I waited a year.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. Hey, maybe we want to restart with the intro. You had mentioned Josh K Music, just
JoeK. I said JoeK. Did I say Josh?
Yeah, it was Josh, but that's okay.
I know it's JoeK.
Yeah.
Why did I say Josh?
Do we want to just restart with
No.
and it could just be JoeK, man. Like I don't, you don't even need to add the music. I'll fill in all the rest, but yeah. I didn't want you to get down
it. Oh no, we're gonna keep it.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Listen, I've had a few drinks. I hit happy hour before I came here. I've got me a quadruple vodka grapefruit right now, and I don't know why I had Josh on my brain. For some reason, I know it's JoeK. Whatever. It's JoeK Music. I don't mean that's your name, but that's like where people would find you, like YouTube, JoeK Music. He pops up, and I reached out to you yesterday or 2 days ago, because I had an interview with somebody that I know that's worked with Godimus, and I kind of wanted to press him a little bit on that situation, and he didn't want to, but he ended up talking about it anyway. So
yeah, I listened to that episode, and it was really interesting. And before I even dive in, man, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
First and foremost, like whatever way you were feeling a year ago is how I feel since I started and all the way up until now. And things are so cyclical, man. Like, things come and go so quick, like topics come and go so quick. And like when I first started the podcast on my YouTube channel, I had no intention of it kind of turning into what it turned into. Like, my full intent was just to start talking about underground music. And it just so happened that on the week I was going to kick back off the podcast, this whole Gadamus situation came to light. Like,
How did you get hip to it? Like why? Like,
so I've been pretty well connected with a lot of different artists in the underground over the last 10 years. I got into music back in like 2010, started really following underground hip hop at that time. I was never like I didn't grow up on hip hop, like
no.
I was kind of late to the party.
Oh
It was
shit! Because man,
probably
you come off as an old school head. Like I was like another reason why I didn't want to talk to you a year ago is because I'm like, because I love hip hop. I love local hip hop. I like some underground stuff. Like I'm all over the place. I've been listening to it forever, but I'm not like an encyclopedia guy. Like I can just tell you, like I can rap to songs, but I couldn't even tell you the name of the song a lot of times. But I just like I'm into it. But there's like dudes like you who you just seem like an encyclopedia of wealth when it comes to certain like to the hip hop game, especially to the underground. It's like, how do I even talk to this guy? This guy's just like knows everything. Like, what am I gonna say?
dude,
School me.
I got you all fooled.
You do. That's
I
good.
got you
man.
all fooled, man. No, I was pretty late. I started listening to like rap in general, like mainstream rap when I was, I don't know, 14, 15, and started out with like, the usual suspects. This is back in, oh my God, 2000, 2004, 2005, maybe. I mean, I'm talking like Eminem, Jay-Z, Kanye West, like all those guys were kind of at their pinnacle when I first started listening to hip hop, right? Like
It's a good time to get into
they
it.
were killing it. Like, man, I remember popping in that Kanye album and it was nuts. Like it blew my mind.
Wow.
And like all the Eminem stuff. And then I got into JC, like or Jay-Z, the Blueprint 2 came out. Like that was crazy. Like again, I had to kind of I started in like the middle. I had to work my way back. And then I've been trying to follow it ever since. And like right around 2010 is when I got into underground hip hop and started dabbling in music a little bit and started building those connections with a lot of people that were coming up in like the funk volume era. I don't know.
But
If
how
you're
are you doing it? So
familiar.
you're just saying it so casually. Like, oh, I started listening to this and then I got into underground and just started working. Like, how did you get into like what were you listening to before you found rap? Like what was your jam?
Man, it was weird, man. Like I went a long time where I didn't understand the point in listening to music.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
until I was probably like 13.
Okay.
13 is probably when I started listening to just music in general.
Oh, well,
Up
that's
until
That's fine.
up
Like
in,
who
up until then, like, but like some kids have these stories about like, I remember my dad used to put this in the record player and we'd listen to this. I don't really have that kind of story. Like I didn't grow up in a
okay.
house
I
that
got you.
I didn't grow up as a kid listening to hip hop music or even like listening to a specific genre of music.
Okay.
I didn't really have that. So by the time I cared about music, it was like alternative rock, like Nickelback, Three Doors Down, all the bands people hate. Were the ones
gross.
that were the
Yeah.
ones were the ones that I was listening to,
Of course.
Yeah, naturally. So, I started there and was really particular with who I listened to. And I remember like listening to hip hop at the time and being like, I don't know if I like this, but I think I was listening to the wrong hip hop for me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like the hip hop I was listening to or first got exposed to was like radio hip hop. And there was an era there of hip hop where it was like just not great. Like, when I was younger, like I'm talking like the radio stuff. Like I'm not talking about the Tupacs and the Biggies. I'm talking about all the stuff in between there that was just kind of forgotten about. And I didn't really get it. But once I started picking it up again when I was 14 or 15, it was like, wow, this is great. And so I just started consuming. And I went from mainstream hip hop into like Hobson was a big one. Like 2010 was like the pinnacle for me.
How are you like what is your platform in 2010 in listening to music? Like how are you getting this? I'm old. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 42. I it was me. It was like blank CDs and that we would burn CDs and make our own CDs at some point. You know what I mean? Like how are you like consuming your music at this point?
Yeah, this so that's a really good question, man. I was consuming it mostly through YouTube.
Wow.
LimeWire was a thing.
LimeWire. I did
A few
LimeWire.
a few
Yeah.
years before that, LimeWire was a thing. And
Yeah, I
so
was a
my
big
buddy would
LimeWire
burn
guy.
me, he'd burn me some CDs off of like LimeWire and stuff. And that's how I first started getting some music, you know, before I ponied up enough McDonald's money to go and purchase a CD from Walmart myself, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot of YouTube though in 2010. And one of my friends introduced me. It was kind of a weird scenario. Like he was like, "Hey, you want to come hang out?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah, let's hang out." He
Hmm.
invites me over to this kid's house who lives on like it's not a farm, but it's like on farm land, you know, like it's in the middle of nowhere. I'm like,
Okay.
okay, where are we going exactly here? We're in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. There's freaking nothing but cornfields.
And
And
cows. Wisconsin's
yeah,
got a shitload of cows and silos. There's a lot of
yeah.
silos.
Hey, we gotta get the cheese and the grains, man. Gotta get that. But he brings me to this barn in the middle of nowhere. And there's this little like I don't know, I don't even know what it was exactly. Maybe like a shed that had electricity to it. I don't know. It was pretty big. It was a pretty big area there. And there's a bunch of dudes in there and they're like listening to beats and rapping. And I'm like, what the heck is this? You know, like what is this about? And
And just in the middle of rural Wisconsin?
yeah. There's like five dudes sitting in this room listening to beats and rapping. And I remember it was I think it was the Lil Wayne Fireman beat or something. And they're all
Just the
going
beat,
they're
or
just
were the
they're
lyrics on
yeah,
there?
just a beat. They're just
Wow.
having a
Okay.
cipher. They're having a cipher in the freaking barn, you know. And
Did
I'm
they ripped it off
probably
LimeWire or something, or what?
I
Or was
don't
there?
I probably I don't know where they ripped it off of, but that was my introduction to underground hip hop. Like that particular moment.
Okay. Wow. And it hooked you ever since? Like that, you
And
call that underground? Like, I mean, I
that
guess there's nothing more
so
underground than that, but that just
I
seems like
I didn't know what that was, right? So,
right.
you know, they're rapping and I'm like, okay, like whatever. And they're all just kind of like ciphering. And then they start talking about these different artists, right? Like some of the big ones at the time, Immortal Technique,
Right.
right? They were
Legend.
talking about Immortal Technique. They're playing, you know, the traditional, like your gateway into Immortal Technique is, you know, Dance with the Devil. And you got to listen to that song. And, you know, you listen to that and then you're hungry for more. You're listening for more. So then I'm checking out them. Then I'm checking out Army of the Pharaohs, you know, like then I'm checking out Hobson. Then I hear about this guy in Tech Nine, you know, and it just kind of spirals from there. And I'm on YouTube. So, you know, I stumble across like Hobson. He's coming out with like Sag My Pants and the Ill Minds and all that stuff. And it was so much music at that time that was coming out. And there was so much of a backlog already. It was
Mhm.
like
Oh, yeah.
underground music overload. Like it was
Oh,
just
you were in
coming from
heaven. You must
everywhere.
have loved it.
Yeah, it was great. It was
What a
great.
time to be alive for you. At such a good time for you to get into it, and for those artists at such a young age, and now to have gotten, I mean, I guess they were probably a little, if that was only what, 14 years ago or something, you said 10 years ago.
Yeah, 12 years ago
Okay,
about.
so
Yeah.
they were still in the game. At least Tech Nine was in the game for a minute. So yeah, you must have
Mhm.
gotten like, holy shit, look at all this backlog he's got. Whoa.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but then even to see where that progresses, and especially and like with all those other like Hobson too, to see how that it's progressed and still going, it must be pretty cool to get into it at the ground floor as far as you're concerned in your life, and then to watch that explode and go. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and that I mean that honestly that kind of leads up to your original question. How did I how did I get into all of this crazy nonsense that goes on, right? Like how do I find out about this crazy crap? Like how do I hear about it? Who tells me it? Over the years, it went from listening to music, consuming everything, like every rapper I like didn't matter if they were well known or not.
Hmm.
If they made good music, I was listening. I was trying to consume as much as I could.
Was
And
it
so
through, sorry to cut you off. Was it through like the YouTube algorithm, or how are you finding these? Because like it's not super easy to find good underground artists. I mean, there's a lot of them, but there's a lot of shit you got to just sift through. I mean, there's a lot of trash out there. You know what I mean?
there's probably two or three pivotal key points that kind of led me in the direction that I got to. It was YouTube, the YouTube rabbit hole, right? Just going on there in the
They kind of
algorithm.
got rid of that, right? It's not as good. The rabbit hole
It's
is
not as
not as
good.
good as it used to be. You could go down some fucking holes.
Yeah, it's not nearly as good, but it was that mixed with Facebook. Like
Okay.
Facebook had there's a Facebook page called Underground on Top, and it is a underground hip hop like kind of promo page. And they popped up right around the time that Funk Volume was coming up, right? Like Hobson had started Funk Volume. He was doing the Funk Volume contest. And they were one of like three pages that were selected to help like promote basically the contest and share some of the artists that were submitting entries to it and stuff like that. And through that contest, you hear about you hear so many new rappers, right? And in those situations at that time,
Mm.
there wasn't a lot of like pay to play kind of things like where it is now, where like now someone joins a contest, they pay to promote the crap and they get 100,000 views. It was a lot of organic, like the cream of the crop is rising to the top. And so if you go down
Never eat a
YouTube,
pig because a pig is a cop.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it was like, I just discovered so many through that, just different artists, and some that turned out over the years to be bigger artists, some that turned out to kind of fall off the face of the planet. But again, I just kept getting more and more ingrained in what was happening, just through like social media and learning about different artists and like listening to their music. And I didn't 10 years ago, I had started dabbling in music and putting music out. And I started doing like a vlog at the time, because podcasts weren't really a thing yet. It was all called a vlog. You're doing a
Okay.
video blog.
Yeah.
And I had started that and did that for a little bit and then stopped. So, all these years passed. I pick it up and I said, it's a new year. It's 2021 at the time. So last year, I'm like, I'm starting this thing up again. Like, I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to start doing it consistently. I want to, talk about different things that are going on in the underground. I want to try to get that community that I remember from 2010 back up and running again, so that people are talking about and at least having a conversation about underground hip hop. Because we've gone from what I remember is like the heyday to something that I can barely even recognize anymore. And that was really why I wanted to start it. It just so happened that the day, like the week or month I was starting it, I heard that this artist got ripped off by Gadamus.
Mm-hmm. How did you
So
hear about that? Like you just started it, like you had already had an established connection in the underground world from just following and being a fan, or like how, or was it just because you were like reading on pages and stuff? Like how does
it was like that particular situation was literally, I went on Facebook, I saw somebody post about it that I was friends with,
okay.
and I started looking at it. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And it fell in line. Like I had in the past, I had talked about like other artists that had maybe done bad business or were scamming people. So
Mm-hmm.
this wasn't something that was necessarily new to me.
Right.
This was something that I had already experienced with other artists in the past and talked about. And so like people that were, the handful of people that were paying attention to my vlogs back then, this was right up their alley.
Right. Maybe this guy can help me out. He's got a bit of a reach.
Yeah. And so, when I heard about it, I started asking questions. I honestly, that first episode, if you look back at that first episode where I'm talking about the Gadamus scamming and stuff, the video quality is so horrible. The
Oh,
sound
really?
quality is so horrible. Like I had to rip it off of Facebook because I literally just, I turned on my computer, I pulled up Streamlabs, and I started using my screen record to have the pictures there. And I'm just kind of toggling back and forth between the Facebook photos that I can see that this person posted. And I'm just doing it on the fly. Like
Oh,
nothing was
wow. That's
pre-recorded.
awesome. I love
It,
that.
it was
I
just,
love that.
it just kind of happened. I just kind of turned it on and went with it. So
And that kind of blew up, huh?
yeah, it went crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Like up until that point, I'd usually get, I don't know, a couple hundred views maybe
Mm-hmm.
over time. Like everything's been pretty organic, and even today, like I don't look at my channel as like, oh my God, I have this huge channel and this huge audience. Like
Right.
because I don't think I do. I think
I
it's
got
hard to
you.
say that I do because things are, like I said, so cyclical,
Right.
and it's
You just had
topic
like a
based.
run of like some good
Yeah.
controversy that you kind of just got in the middle and capitalized and did well, not got in the middle and capitalized. I think that's diminishing it because I think what you did was a really good thing as far as like how you went about it. Like you went about it like how like a real journalist would go about it. And like you did due diligence, and you didn't have like, it didn't seem like you had an agenda one way or another, or a bias. Like maybe your agenda was do the right thing and see like hey, what the fuck's going on here, but it didn't seem like you actually had a bias, because when you first went at Godamus, you're like, hey man, here's some stuff that's going around, what's up, can you let's talk privately real quick and see what's up. And
Mm-hmm.
then he was like, yo, fuck you, dude. That's when you know that motherfucker's guilty. Then he's like, at least in
Yeah.
my mind. I've tried getting him on my podcast a couple times. I've gotten close. I even had, if you know who Tay Diggs, you know that dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I talked to him. He was like, yeah, I can talk to him about it, but and I'll treat him. I would treat, if I could get Godimus on here, I would treat him with the utmost respect and give him an opportunity. I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to let him lie and get away with anything or shit on it, but I'd like, um, in my podcast with Nick Gibbs, I was saying like I love a good redemption story, and I would love if he just would make things right or apologize or just do the right thing and be like, yo, look, that was a hard time in my life, whatever was going on, mental, drugs, whatever the rumors may be, whatever it could have been, or maybe it was something completely different, and just like, yo, but now I got it straight, like I pay the dude back.
Mm-hmm.
That $20 a month finally had it up and I got it paid off by now.
Yeah.
And and he's like, and I'm making things right again. Like, who doesn't want to see that? Like, it's not too late, Gotti. It's not too late, baby. Holla at your boy.
And that's the thing, man. It's like it's not about the error. Everybody makes a mistake.
Right.
It's how do you respond when you're called out on your error, and what do you do to make it right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem that's at hand here. Like that's honestly, that's 99% of the problems that are out there. It's
Yeah,
that.
with life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like everybody has hard times. Everybody has issues. Everybody makes mistakes. Like it's not about the mistake. It's not about the rough patch you're going through. It's what are you doing to get yourself out of that rough patch? And what are you doing to right all of the wrongs that have led up into this point? Because me putting it on the internet and talking about it, I wasn't exposing anybody. It had already been out there. You know what I mean? Like the information was already out there.
The information was out there, but not on a platform your size, perhaps. And maybe you didn't even realize that
I didn't
because
have,
like you said, you
I
didn't
didn't
have
have
that
a platform.
It
Yeah.
just kind of blew up like a miniature viral, underground viral thing, huh?
Yeah.
What was that like for you? Was that kind of cool? Did you like that? Like, oh shit, I like, it's got to be cool. Like, oh my god, I got like 5,000 views or whatever. Like all of a sudden, like overnight or something. Like that'd be kind of dope.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool for sure. Like, I don't want to diminish that at all. It just, it feels so weird because it was so, it's like this. I don't have a ton of
Look, I'm
listeners.
joining you with the green, with the blue.
There we go. There we go. Now we're in sync. Now we're together. I feel the harmony and peace.
Yeah, I
now.
like that. Sorry.
No. It's all good. I don't even remember where I was going with this, but it's like, at the end of the day, like when you're in it and the way that it happened, it wasn't like, hey, I uploaded this video and the next day it was at 10,000 views. Like that wasn't how it worked. It was, I went to bed. I woke up the next day. It had a few hundred more views. I woke up the next day. It had a few hundred more views because I don't have a huge audience, even after all of this, right? Even over the last year of like trying to consistently put out content, I don't have a huge audience. It's the people that I'm having audience of are people that are ingrained in underground hip hop. That goes back to kind of where it all started, right? My hunger to learn more and to hear more and to understand more about underground hip hop led to me building that network of people, whether they know it or not. When you add somebody on social media, you're now in their network. And so
I never thought about it like that. Yeah, I'm adding people all the time. Whatever.
Yeah. And exactly. And like adding the right people and knowing the right people and chatting and having conversations with the right people, or making content that grabs their attention so that when something does strike them, they go, oh my God, I'm sharing this crap. Because guess what? You may not have a big audience, but they do. And that's why, like, if you look at my channel and you actually analyze my channel, I have far more than just like, oh, Joe's going on YouTube again and just talking crap and starting to talk about controversy again. I have artists in the past that have come on that I've done interviews for.
You have some good interviews on
reviews.
there.
Yeah, I've done interviews. None of that crap pops off. Do you want to know why? Because drama doesn't sell.
Drama sells, yeah.
Like, or drama sells, yeah, sorry. Like stuff that doesn't have drama in it doesn't sell. And it's just the way it is. It's unfortunate, but it is the way it is. So, for me, again, it's just it happened. It's kind of luck of the draw. And it did end up leading me down a road of far more content about strange music than I had ever anticipated.
I was going to ask about that. Like, it did. So when that popped off, did that make you like, oh shit, let me kind of pay attention to strange for a minute and kind of maybe not get pigeonholed into it, but maybe tunnel vision? Did you get like a strange music tunnel vision after that? Like, I got some traction out of this. It's working. Like, let me just keep using this formula, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, it was
nice.
It
Good.
was,
Thanks for answering that. Honestly.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's exactly what it was. It was, hey, here's a situation. Like, again,
and that's what people want. Like, give people what they
bingo.
want. If that's what the numbers are, let me give you more strange shit.
Bingo. It's like my goal starting out in 2021 was deliver underground hip hop content. It could be news, it could be album reviews, it could be interviews. Deliver content. Whatever content I start delivering that starts to pick up traction tells me as a creator what people want to know about. And when it started with the strange music stuff, it was like, okay, so you guys want to know more about the situation? Let me go find some people and let's have some conversations. Let me go start talking to people. I talked to Chuck Reeves. Chuck Reeves, I mean, he was huge into like Psychopathic and ICP, and he's followed the strange music drama over the years and all that. Like, again, it's just me knowing other people that are so ingrained in different areas of the underground that I call them up and have a conversation with them about it.
Nice.
Hey, Chuck, come on the show. Let's have a conversation about it. People hate Chuck. People hate me. People definitely hate both of us together, but then other people love it. So it's like, you're always going to get that. And it's like, you know what? I don't need to try to find people that view things just like I do, or that present information just like I do. I actually prefer to talk to people that have a different perspective, or maybe they have a different delivery, right?
Yeah.
Like, when I think about Chuck Reeves, it's like, we couldn't be any more polar opposite with how we present information. Like we're just different. So people liked the content, and so I kept again, like it's not like after that moment I started doing more and more research.
Okay.
And the more and more research I did, the more and more I found out about all the other stuff that was happening at Strange Music that wasn't available yet to the fans. So with my mission of let's have some conversation,
different artists that are associated with Strange, like how are you getting inside information without releasing sources if you don't want to? Is it just inside?
It's been a huge combination of fans. I mean, you got to think about Strange Music. Think about their entire structure.
I don't know a whole lot, which is so funny. They're in my backyard. I've been to Strangeland in Lee Summit. Like I go to these shows, but I don't pay a whole lot of attention. I paid somewhat attention when Gadamus and Ancestral Crew kind of got released, or there was like that gray area when they were kind of getting released from Strange. And I know I'm pretty good friends with a dude that created a group recently called Moks, MOKS. And they had Gadamus on one of their videos, and they're really good friends with Gadamus. And they put on a show. It was like one of the first, I think it was the first show Gadamus did outside of Strange on his own. And then right after that, Gadamus put like a little video on his Instagram of him walking into Strange and signing a new contract. Like the rumor was that they didn't like him working outside, and I'm like, all right, come on back. But then that was before the controversy came out with you.
Yeah. And I mean, for I guess the point I was driving at, like not necessarily their structure, but how their fan base is. Okay. Their fan base is one of the most dedicated fan bases of any music group I can even think of in any genre. Like they are the most hardcore dedicated fans on this planet.
The Strange, really? Okay.
Yes. Like they will buy every shred of merch. They will go to every show, no matter how many times they're coming to their city, like they're going. They're super dedicated and loyal fans. And so when stuff started kind of falling apart, the fans have built relationships with many of the artists because, again, they go to all these shows. They have all these conversations with them. They get artist numbers and like talk to them sometimes. Like they have such a bond with the artists.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they have such a bond, and like and it's good. And at the same time, it's like, well, when crap starts going awry, now you have the leak, you know, the hole could be anywhere because you've built your entire existence with the fans ingrained in everything you're doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. That does make sense when you think about it, because like it's hard for me to see, because so you're in the Milwaukee area. I'm here, like I said, I'm in their backyard. When I go to their shows, it's like they're here, of course. It's not that big of a deal. They're just here. And it's not like they're not that hard to access. Like before COVID started, like their biggest thing was like, I think Joey Cool had like a birthday party he would have every year at the Riot Room down in Westport. It was a pretty big show out, but it wasn't like, we're not talking like thousands of people. Like anyone can go there and get like hang out with these people and, you know, get their numbers, hang out. Like a lot of big names here in Kansas City. Like you can walk up to Sully 4Q. What's up, bro? Like, let's hang out. Like, let me buy you a drink, whoever. So it's cool. Yeah. I don't know what that perspective is outside of here. It's just different, I guess. But yeah, when you see that, like I can imagine when they go, because they're not performing at giant venues. I don't expect outside. So it would be pretty easy to get access. And you know, there's an underground artist here. I pay attention to the local scene here. I love local. I love the Kansas City hip hop scene. I really love it. there's a dude here. You might have heard about this name. The Abnorm. What's his name? Something Abnorm. I don't know. He's like Abnorm, something Abnorm. And he's like got a song. It's like, yes, we really fuck our fans. It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, we don't even, yeah, yes, we do rap about it, but yes, we do fuck our fans.
we want to let you know that
Yeah,
we're actually doing what we're rapping about. Okay. There is no question about that.
100%. And then and that's also throwing the flag like any ladies out there, hey, I'll fuck you. Come up to me. Like it is, and it's a pretty small group. Yeah.
Yikes. Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's really the connection there. Like people have speculated a lot just based on the content that I've put out, the details that I've shared, and I'm telling you, like there's no one person that all of this could be coming from.
Oh, I wouldn't think so. It
It's
definitely sounds like you have a few good sources, at least
yeah,
with this stuff.
Yeah, and with this in particular, like it's people that are dedicated, that care, most of them anyways, that are like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, hey, I heard so and so is leaving. I heard so and so is leaving. Like there is a stretch there that nothing was being communicated, but since the fans are so connected to the label, like how many let me ask you this: how many artists, like mainstream artists that you listen to or know of, where the majority of the fans that follow that artist also happen to follow the owner of the label and actually care? Like people follow Travis, like on Instagram, on social media, they pay attention to what he's doing. That's not typical. But again, their whole structure, it's ingrained in the fans. It's for a reason, right? Like it's making them feel a part of something, which is good, right? Like it's the strange
a community
music movement.
for sure.
It's the community,
right?
And that's the difference. And yeah, I think that's what set them apart all these years. Like it's been the fans. Like without the fans, obviously they're nothing.
Where do you think that come from? Like, so I've been in Kansas City probably since about 99 is when I kind of first moved here and started paying attention. And I remember living here and seeing Tech-9. He had a nice, now it wasn't a Sprinter van because this was back in 99, but like the 99 version of a Sprinter van,
the Astro van.
So it was a little bit nicer than that. I will give him that. But he had it back then decked out like with that vinyl stuff over it of all of like tech, like his face and straight like Tech-9 on there. And he'd be going to the local clubs and performing and selling his CDs out here locally. Like, so I've seen the dude like just hustle. Like the dude was hustling, doing his thing around here, and then blowing up and then doing it everywhere. Do you think that's what it is? It's just like that real super grassroots, like selling CDs out of the back of your van and people just kind of know you because it's local, like in kind of maybe like the markets he was hitting?
Oh yeah. I mean, for sure. It's again, it's taking the time and the effort to build that relationship with your fans. Like,
are not other artists doing that? Not a whole lot. I mean, like I can see ICP doing that a little bit, but like,
well, and
is that what it is?
I mean, ICP was kind of like, they were kind of like the foundation. Like they kind of set the way. Hey, we're gonna create this fan base. We're gonna name our fan base, right? Like we're like all of that is part of building that community, right? Like when you start naming your fans and start having like the gathering, right? Like
the Juggalos and the Gathering.
Yeah. Like you have all of these events and things like that. And
it's like basically creating a mini cult. That's what these guys are doing. They're creating cults, isn't it? Is that what this is?
let me just drink this Kool-Aid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I think the successful ones do that very well. I think people have tried to replicate that over the years. Many other groups have tried. A lot of them have fallen short. And I think they've just consistently done it well. And I mean, at the end of the day, look, the artists that they have are super talented artists. Like
100%. They do get
they
some, yeah.
they have talented artists. There's no question about that. I don't think people have
But
ever.
talented artists are a dime a dozen, really.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean that's why they come and go as much as they do. For being honest, like
Right.
look at the amount of turnover they've had. Look at even the good artists with the way the industry changes and is evolving. I don't see strange music being the strange music that people have grown to know over the years, because the industry is changing. Their role as a label is changing and evolving. I mean, people are signing, they're signing It Goes Up deals, which are distribution deals, and they're basically selling their services now instead of signing artists, because that's independence is really the future. And although they've always preached independence and not doing F the mainstream and we're going to do our independent thing, they've operated their business like a mainstream label over the last couple of
Right.
decades.
It's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way when people kind of look at them as like this independent like Tech Nine started out like that, but I mean, is it really? Like it's pretty mainstream. Tech's pretty mainstream. Strange music is kind of, I don't know. It's like, I don't, it's not major league, but maybe like one, like it's like if they were the minor leagues, they'd be winning the championship every year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they're just
Yeah.
close.
Yeah. I mean, they've always kind of been on the cusp, and that's not, and no disrespect to Tech. Like Tech is
Oh, there's no
going to go
disrespect
down.
there at all. Yeah,
He's
that's
going to go
great.
down as a legend, like
Hall
as
of
a
Famer.
hip hop. Yeah, as a hip hop legend,
Hall of
like
Famer.
for
Hall
sure.
of Famer. 100%. First ballot Hall of Fame.
No doubt about it. But like you said, when you look at what they're doing and how they operate, there is no difference between the type of deals that they sign these artists on to what a major does.
Right.
Except for maybe the amount of money that's being thrown at the artist.
Yeah, I said right like I know. I have no idea how the music business works. I just know there's a lot of controversy no matter what label you really talk about.
Yeah. Well, because
that's the music game, baby. That's
yeah,
the music game.
It comes down to people just not paying attention to the details and knowing what they're signing up for. Like, and as much crap as I and others have given strange music over the last year or so or beyond, but particularly over recent events, at the end of the day, strange music is a business, and they're going to do what makes business sense for them to do. Whatever's
Travis is going to do
money.
it makes Travis money 100%.
Yeah. If Travis thought that, signing JoeK to strange music was going to make him $1 million, trust me, I'd be on the label signed working.
You would get signed to Strange,
but
you're like,
no,
yo, Strange,
no.
sign me up. Let me be your like official podcaster, like JoeK Music, like / Strange. Like I will take down all my videos of Godamus and JL and Strange and Travis. Like not like, would you do that?
No,
I
would. There's no.
Like Joe, listen, baby. You want one of these Ferraris? Like you pick one of them. One of them's yours. Just like, come on, toe the line for just like 5 years. Like we want everything about you for the next 5 years. Take those down, and here's a Ferrari.
See, here's the difference between me and a starving artist. Okay, when you're signing some of these people and they literally have no other options, you could have a freaking Pinto outside, and they'd say, "Well, I don't have a Pinto now, and I don't have anything really to my name right now, and you're offering me a Pinto. Why wouldn't I sign up? F it, sign me up. Let's go. Let's get to work." And they take it. And then later on, if things either pop off, now they feel like they're undervalued, even though they were worth nothing to the label to begin with.
Right.
Or if they don't pop off, they're like, "Well, you didn't do enough for me." It's like, well, I gave you the freaking Pinto. You're supposed to get yourself to the shows. Like, what the heck? What were you doing? Like, how come you weren't putting in the work? You need to put in the work. Again, like as much crap as people want to say, at the end of the day, it's a business, and the business is evolving. And because it's evolving, we're seeing the changes that we've been seeing over the last year.
Which is what? What's it evolving to?
Oh, it's 100% independent.
YouTube.
Like, It's going to be, oh yeah, it's going to be a
YouTube,
lot of
home
YouTube, Apple
studios.
Music. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it has been for years, but now, like a label like Strange Music, they have a very good structure to help independent artists without having to sign them. So for example, when you have, people talk about like Jelly Roll, right?
Mhm.
Oh, well, he got an It Goes Up deal. From what I heard, he did sign an It Goes Up deal.
It
He
Goes Up is
distributed.
signed by is Travis's label or whatever, right?
It's
One of his
it's
companies.
another arm of Strange
Strange,
Music,
right? Yeah.
essentially. Um, it's in his portfolio of businesses, and it's really used as a distribution company to, for artists to put music out on. There's services that are involved in that. You get videos, tours, getting your music on all the different streaming services, promotion, things like that. And that's the future, right? Like when we look at like Jelly Roll, oh, he signed this It Goes Up deal. Yeah, he did. You know what he did after that? He went and he got a better deal. Like he leveraged that deal to go get a better deal.
Nice.
And that's going to be the business now. Like it's going to be competition. You're still going to have majors. You're still going to have, underground or more independent focused labels that specialize in different things. But at the end of the day, they're just serving a different function. You're just not going to sign artists anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's my opinion. That's my logical, just based on my observations, opinion. I'm not an expert, just my observation and opinion
right.
on the matter.
Do you think that's bad for them? Like what is your assumption of like, do you think they're just kind of like, let's just ride out? Like, do you think they're growing new fans? Because it sounds like you don't think they're trying to grow new fans, but maybe they're okay with that and just keeping like the older fans that have stuck in with them, and they'll just kind of retire and ride out to the sunset together. All the
I
Strange fans like Tech
well,
Nine and Travis, and just ride out to the sunset with all of the Topeka and Grand Rapids fans forever.
let me ask you this, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with their fan base. How do you grow a community when you're not invested in your community? And what I mean by that is you're not investing in artists like you were back in the day. You're not signing artists. You're only providing a service to the artist. So fans of Strange Music, half the time, they may not even understand or know that somebody has distribution through It Goes Up, because they're not signed to Strange just because they have an It Goes Up deal. Like they're just getting their music distributed. So it's different. And so now you're like, what are you going to do? You're going to expect your fan base to pivot to all these people that are coming in and out of your door just for the service, like a drive-through window, and saying like, I'll take this and this and this and give me a music video and 2-week, mini
But
tour over here, and then
maybe
go like,
maybe that's not a horrible thing for some artists out here. They're like, hey, I want the resources that Strange can provide and work on an a la carte type menu. And be like, maybe
mhm,
I do just want like a couple dope ass videos, because these
mhm,
guys have an incredible studio and some good videographers and amazing engineers and
mhm,
studio, like all that. Like, is that
absolutely.
is that a bad thing or a good thing, or what do you
No,
think?
I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I
Okay.
think it's a good
But
option
it's not
for
good to grow the fans for Strange.
it's exactly, it's a good option for independent artists. It's good from a business perspective that now, instead of signing, only a couple artists and only being able to put all your resources towards these couple of artists, you're now opening your doors to business from any independent artist, which nowadays could be freaking Joe Schmo in his closet, who wants to get a deal and put out his music through you, through your company. And now you're making money on that. Or maybe someone pops and they blow up and it works great for you. And you built that relationship now. But for the fans, where are those fans going? Those fans are following that artist. They don't care about the minutia in the background that, oh, Strange Music distributed their music, I'm going to go follow Strange Music now. No, they're following Jelly Roll. And if Jelly Roll goes somewhere else, they're none the wiser. They probably don't even know or care. They're following Jelly Roll. And that doesn't build the Strange Music fan base. That doesn't help the Strange Music artist. And that, I think, is the problem.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Well, who does that really affect? Because it seems like if Strange Music really boils down to like 51% of Travis and 49% of Tech, and Tech just kind of rides out his retirement at some point, like whatever. I don't see him retiring anytime soon. That dude's gonna rap forever. Like you can't tell him to stop. But then you got Travis has just got these other ventures underneath that umbrella. Like he seems to be good no matter what. Like is this seeming just kind of like a dying star that is just kind of once kind of Tech leaves, it's just kind of fizzle out? Or do you think it'll kind of get handed off maybe to like a King ISO or hey, maybe a King ISO, probably the only person I can think of right at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I want to think about how I phrase this, because I think it's important so that the point actually gets across. I don't want to say that Strange Music the company is dying, because I don't think Strange Music the company is dying per se. I think they're opening up new avenues, whether through Strange Music Inc. or through one of these other subsidiaries that Travis has.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, they're finding ways to make money and keep the doors open, and probably being pretty profitable doing it. I think Travis is a very smart businessman, and I think he's finding ways to make money, no doubt about it. However, if I look at the artist, when you ask me like, who does this like, how do you see this panning out? Who does this affect? It affects the Chris Calicos of the world. It affects the Stevie Stones of the world.
Right.
It affects the JLB Hoods of the world. It affects those guys. And when you're not bringing in new fans, that's a problem, because you're not growing your business anymore.
You're not helping these artists, right?
If you have a business, let's say you have a hamburger shop and you've been in business for 20 years and you have your regulars, right? And they come there every single week. You know what day they're going to be there, and they order a burger.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. But over the next 10 years, if you don't find yourself a way to get some new people's butts in those seats to order some burgers, your business is doomed.
Right.
You will not survive, because eventually those regular customers, they're going to go move. They're going to go vegan. You know, maybe you don't have
find a new burger.
Options. Yeah. They're going to go find a new burger they like.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now those, 1,000 lifetime customers you had, now they're dwindling down year by year by year. And, I know it sounds more like doom and gloom and, who am I to say, but
right.
That's just the rational, logical, like that's just how businesses work. So, or you're going to end up with completely different type of business, which is what we're looking at now. Now, instead of you having a hamburger shop, you're like, we're a buffet now.
We got some wings over here. We got the prime rib on Wednesday. Let's go. Fish Fridays.
And that's what they're doing. They're like, hey, we're a buffet now. And so now you're going to get some new fans.
Good for them, but not great for the artist.
It's not good for the artists that are already signed, because those new fans are following, like the Jelly Roll situation. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jelly Roll signage goes up. Well, it's great. Bring some buzz for a second. Jelly Roll leaves. People still follow Jelly Roll. That doesn't necessarily mean they care about Strange Music. And that means that those artists that are currently under contract, the King ISOs of the world, the Joey Cools of the world, like those guys aren't getting a bunch of new fans. However, you have Face Off. I think Face Off shed some new light. I think that was a very good move.
And getting Dwayne The Rock Johnson in there.
Yeah. I mean, they got The Rock in there. I think that's great exposure for a guy like Joey Cool, and especially King ISO. I mean, look, King ISO, like he kills it. King ISO is, a lot of people think he's, like you said, he's going to be the next guy up. And if Tech ever does retire, I think King ISO definitely.
Let me tell you, I got someone that'll out rap King ISO. That's damn near as good as Tech Nine, if not just as good in this city. And he's even related Tech Nine. His name is Alan Wayne the Prodigy.
Mm.
He's fire. Try like album of the year. When you're done with this, I implore you to check out Alan Wayne the Prodigy's 10,000 Hours and Counting. It's two different albums. It's 10,000 Hours, and the next one is And Counting. But it's basically like one big project. It came out fucking phenomenal. He's so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I'll
so
have to
good.
check that out, man. Send that over for sure.
All
I love
right,
listening to
cool.
stuff
Yeah,
from a nerd. So
hell yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. But I do think that it's going to be different from what it is today. And I think eventually their whole business structure it's already changing. I mean, look, you can see it. The proof is in the pudding.
Right.
Who have they signed in the
Jerry
last
Robinson.
and like, but who have they really like? Who have they signed in the last year?
I don't know. I don't
Like,
know. I don't pay that much. I don't see
nobody.
anybody. Like, yeah,
Nobody.
they
Like,
got rid of Chris
and
Calico. They got rid of JL. They got rid of Cess Crew. It seems.
Stevie Stone's gone. Like,
Maze. I think they dropped. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like King ISO, Jerry Robinson. They got rid of Ritz, right? I don't know.
yeah, Rich is long gone. But it's
Yeah.
weird too because he's still like he'll tour with them sometimes, and yeah, there's all kinds of weird drama going on there. But it's like, it's so different now, and I'm curious as to how things will pan out. I'm curious. You were mentioning earlier, like, yeah, like the strange shows around here. It's not like they're like, there's 10,000 people at every show or anything like that, and that's true. That's true.
If
for
it's a
sure.
tech show,
But-
like Tech will throw down at this place called Power and Light, and by nature that fills up. But
yeah, but I think too, like we got to watch and see what do these artists do without Strange. I think that's a good question that now a lot of people are asking.
Oh,
like
they
everyone's
don't.
just up in arms about like,
Yeah.
oh, Travis is the devil, and I can't believe that all this stuff, doom and gloom on Strange music. It's like, yeah, but let's see what happens when the artists are on their own. What
Oh,
moves are
they're
they
not
making
doing
on their
much.
own?
I hate talking shit about it, but they're not doing. At least from what I've seen some of the, like I said, I've seen some of these artists after Strange go out and do their own thing. And at least I can only speak on locally here in the Kansas City area. It's not a huge, like impressive showing. I've seen Godimus a couple times, and you're not talking about hundreds of people. I'm telling you that right now. You might.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hundreds. You're not getting hundreds of people.
It's a hard it's a hard sell, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the benefit of having a label with artists on it is you can pull a bigger crowd then, because someone's going to be there for Tech. A few, look, the majority of people are there for Tech. Let's keep it a billion, okay?
100.
But people are going to be there too because, hey, I really like Stevie Stone. Hey, I really like Chris Calico. Hey, I really like JL. Like, you're going to get a bigger group of people if the artist you're bringing onto the label and performing with have fan bases or have built fan bases,
Mm-hmm.
over the years. When they leave though, it's tough, man. Like, I'm waiting for this stuff from Stone to drop, because I'm very curious about what the reaction is going to be to that. I know he's got some stuff cooking, and there's some really, really fire stuff coming from what I've been hearing. And like Chris is doing his thing. And when I look at these guys, when I look at like Chris Calico, you can tell he is all in. His
Mm-hmm.
wife's in on it. Chris is in on it. Like, he is going to live or die by this venture. And I can't say the same for every other artist that has left over the years, So like, I think people like Chris, I think he'll succeed. Will he be like at Tech level? I think it's going to take time to see if, that can get achieved. I think he has the talent.
Oh,
but
100%. That dude's fire.
But who knows? You know what I mean? Like, who knows
Mhm.
what the future holds? I think these other guys, sometimes they just don't put in the work, and they don't even know where to start because everything was handed to them at Strange on a platter.
Mm. Okay. It's hard. I mean, as any artist, whether you're a musician or a painter, it's just artists are just hard. They're not wired typically to be businessmen. So if you
Yeah.
take that like help from strange music, that it's just kind of like throw them in the ocean without a life vest. Go
Yeah.
ahead, figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
We'll see. We'll
yeah.
see.
So you kind of like dove into the strange music world, if you will, because of the Gadamus controversy. But were you already a big fan of strange music and Tech Nine, or did that like?
I I was never a huge fan of strange music.
Okay,
Like, and I've said that to people. Like, I don't know if anyone ever picked it up or cared, but I was never like a diehard strange music fan.
all right. It comes off
I
like you're a big Chris Calico fan.
I've actually become a Chris Calico fan. Like, since all the crazy stuff with Strange, like, and Stone too. Like, I like both of their music because it's good, solid music. Like, it's good, and I never really, like, I always paid attention to Tech. I was one of
Mhm.
those people where it was like Tech Nine and his supporting cast,
Right,
like,
sure.
and people are going to take that how they want, but like, that's the kind of like fan that I was at the time. I
Right.
didn't really pay too much attention to everybody else. When all of this stuff started happening, it made me do a deep dive into everybody's catalog, and so again, like, I just got to consume. I got to kind of see how they move and how they operate, and like those two in particular, like, I've become a fan of, since they've gone and done their own independent thing.
Nice.
um I was never a huge like strange music fanboy. I do remember hearing early on, I remember hearing Seepage by Tech Nine, and that song was like, holy crap, this is crazy. So like, I listened to some Tech Nine music and stuff, and
Mhm.
like, I consumed it, but I was never die hard Tech
Okay.
Nine.
Nice.
um
Are there artists in the underground world that you're just diehard fan? Like I just like is it who are some of your favorite underground artists for you?
yeah, that's a great question. One of my all-time favorites is Greaves from Rhymesayers.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a lesser known artist from the label. A lot of people that listen to Rhymesayers, it's like, it's atmosphere basically, and then from there it's like, you have Brother Ali, you have Prof. um oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the other guy, but like, there's a couple other people that people are gonna like think of when they think of Rhymesayers before they think of Greaves. I love that guy's music. I have literally, I mean, I could pull them out here, but I literally have like every album,
I believe
um,
you.
every single one. Like, I love his music. He's great, and how these strange music fans are to like strange music artists. That's me. That's me with Greaves. Like, don't F with Greaves, okay? Say no
Nice.
wrong about my man Greaves, but it's like, I like him for sure. And I've gone through phases of other underground artists. I really liked Immortal Technique there for a long time.
Mhm.
I still like him now, but he was like consistently pumping out music there in the early years, and I became a huge fan of his. But probably, I'd say Greaves is probably my number one. I like Hobson. Um,
That's what I thought
and
you might say.
yeah, I like Hobson too, because he was another one that I got onto kind of early. Um, yeah, I mean, NF is like mainstream now, but I was late to the game with him too. I really
With
like him.
NF,
Yeah, yeah.
he's underground, huh?
He's not really underground not anymore.
Okay,
He he was
I
one that
listened
was
to him
like,
for a while, but I is do you
he's
call
mainstream. He's mainstream. He's 100% mainstream.
he's main no, but what I'm getting at is he's a Christian hip hop artist.
Mhm.
So would you say all Christian hip hop artists are like underground just because the nature of what they are?
Yes and no. I think NF is a different beast though, because NF, he was a Christian who happened to make underground hip hop music, and I think that's a difference between like him and a Lecrae.
Uh,
Like, look, like when you think of Lecrae,
right.
it's like the pinnacle of like underground, like, or just like hip hop, like Christian hip hop music. NF is more like, in every single song, you're not really getting a sermon. It's not like the typical.
He's more like
an
Andy Mineo or whatever that.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like totally
Like I'm a
different, like,
Christian,
mood,
but I
yeah.
rap.
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's really more his lane. And but he's, over the last couple of years, like he's signed the Capitol Records. He's had a big, that's why he came out of like nowhere.
Really?
Like
I've
he
been
like got
on
a
an
huge,
I've been spouting NF shit for fucking years just because I dabbled with being a Christian for a while, and I was like, oh, let me see what this. Let me find some good hip hop music because I love hip hop. Let me see what these Christian artists about. And I found NF. I was like, oh shit, this dude's cold.
there's very few good Christian hip hop artists, because
Yeah,
there were a few
McCrae's
artists.
dope.
There were a few artists early on that I listened to, because I got into like Christian rock and Christian hip hop music as well for a period of time. And like I know for me, like Toby Mac was like a big one that,
Oh geez,
you know,
he's
at the
awful.
time, like
Can't handle
I
that
I
guy.
liked his music at the
I
time.
can't handle that shit.
To each their own, you know.
Right.
And but then he wasn't really rapping anymore. It was more just like pop music. So like it kind of got off of that quick. But yeah, there's a bunch of different like Christian hip hop artists out there.
There's some that are there's this dude named Marty and Ferg. Obviously not ASAP Ferg, but Marty and Ferg, I think, with Social Misfits. They actually started out with NF, I believe, or NF started out with them, and they're pretty. They were good.
Yeah.
It's
hard to come by. I'll be honest. Like it's few and far between, because so much of it is trash, and it's people like, you know, the irony, man. The irony in it is a lot of. I won't say a lot. I will say there are some quote unquote Christian artists that are literally just out there doing the church circuit because that's what's available to them, and they could really care less about promoting any type of like Christian message.
Listen, I thought about doing that with a
like
podcast. I thought about traveling around doing Neanderthal podcast Christian circuit and just cutting out all the cuss words and just like, there's some money in that. There's some easy money in that Christian game. Come on, pay me. Fuck you, pay me, baby.
That's what I'm saying, man. And like I've heard, like I've literally heard it from people. It's like, yeah,
the Chick-fil-A podcast. And we're closed on Sundays.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's absolutely wild.
Well, I won't take too much more of your time. I'm gonna get ahead about till 9:30. What are do you go to shows? Do you go like see a lot of live hip hop shows, or like or do you just like the game, like the underground hip hop in your headphones? Like how do you
I mean,
are you out there?
These days, as I've gotten older, I don't go to many shows anymore. I used to go to shows all the time. A lot of local shows here in the Milwaukee area I used to head up to, but I don't go to shows that often.
What's your scene like out there?
What's the scene like?
Yeah, the Milwaukee hip hop scene. You guys got good shows and good artists?
There's really, I mean, it's okay. It's very clicky. It's very clicky. So, you know, there's a lot of like, I'm not doing a show with so-and-so, and I'm not doing a show with so-and-so.
Really?
If I'm going to do a show, you know, like you need to pay me X amount. Like it's a lot of like politics and clickiness. And I mean, honestly, I tried to get ingrained in that scene for a while. Like when I first started listening to underground hip hop music, and it just turned me off so quick because of all the dysfunction. So yeah, there's plenty of talented artists around here. There's some really amazing artists around here, but people these days are, I mean, they're looking beyond just the local scene too. So a lot of those people aren't even like committed to being here. It's like they'll be here 1 year and then next year they're out in Atlanta, and then things don't pan out, so they're back in Milwaukee. Like there's no like, you know, I feel like that drive to like put your city on has changed over the over the years. Like I feel like people before used to be so hungry to like get their city on the map, and now it's like people just don't care anymore.
I think Kansas City's got some hunger for that too. I mean, but then we do get a few people that kind of dip out. I think we had Marley Young. I think it's kind of like whatever. All right. So before you go, can you give my listeners like some good names that we should be checking out right now? Who should we be listening to?
Oh man, how deep down the hole do I go here?
I want
Let me
good. I want like good quality. I don't want someone that's got good bars but horrible production or vice versa. I want like the full package. Like I can put this in my headphones and I'm gonna like rock out and feel it. Maybe get some goosebumps. Like some new names. You know what I mean?
Okay. Couple people that come to mind that I would consider super underground that maybe some of your listeners have never heard of. Maybe they have. I think of artists like Minus. He's super good. I think of artists like PFV. He's super good. Artists like NK47, super talented. Loose Logic, super talented. There's a guy out here, and if he's listening to this, I hope he takes offense and takes action. But this dude is so talented, yet never freaking releases any music ever to the public. Like my inbox is full of like snippets of songs that are half done and never released. And he is so good. His name is Coulter. If you're freaking listening to this, dude, record the full song and put this crap out properly. Like
he's not good then. If he can't put the whole thing out, he's not good. If you got a little bit of talent that you can spit a few bars, I don't care if you can't put the whole thing out. You ain't got talent.
No. It ain't even a few bars. Like this dude can sing. This dude can rap. Like it's not just like he spit like an 8-bar or a 16-bar and he called it a day. Like dude has the hook, the bridge, a verse, and then like sometimes a full song, and it just doesn't get released. So it just, again, one of these people that super talented,
but lacks discipline. A true artist
just needs to put the stuff out there, man. But yeah, those are a handful, and I'm sure I could go on and list another 10, and people are going to be so pissed off that I listed whoever I listed and didn't list them because they're the greatest. And I forgot about them.
Listen, like there's so many sensitive rappers out there. You can't worry about them. Let them bitch and cry about it. Like whatever.
You know what? One more that I have to mention. Okay. I absolutely have to mention because they're like that old school gritty underground hip hop. That's Twistello. You got to check out Twistello.
People know about Twistello 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. One more question, because I just thought about this when you were mentioning that. When you were going through all of this, you're getting all these DMs, all these messages, and you're getting some hate and some haters. What was that like? And what was like the biggest hateful type thing? And how did you deal with it?
So obviously like the typical like F you, you're the worst. I hope you like that. That's common. I don't really even think about that. When I put out the reaction video for Face Off, before Face Off dropped, because someone gave me the track before it was released, and so I got to be the first reaction to it, which I thought was pretty cool.
I think that's amazing. I don't know why anyone would hate on you other than a jealous motherfucker.
But they were so mad because, like, and maybe it was my own clickbaitingness that got them going, because I put like leaked song or whatever.
Nice.
So I think they just saw the title and they
were hoping to get it.
Yeah, they thought I was just gonna leak it, but what they didn't know is I was just listening in my headphones and then commentating on it throughout the video, not playing any of it to people, like just letting them know basically that I got it, that it's real, and I'm talking about it before it's released as like a teaser.
I love that.
And but people were so mad, and there have been things that have been said like, we know where you live, stuff like that, from different people that are close to certain artists. That's about as far as I'll go with it.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it. I mean,
Right.
look, at the end of the day,
These
I'm
dorks aren't
I'm
gonna
gonna
do anything.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm gonna speak my mind, and I try to do it in as much of a respectful way as possible, as much as a factual way as possible. Sometimes, yes, I'm gonna have my own opinion that I'm gonna share. And sometimes you're not gonna like my opinion, and I can live with that. That's okay with me.
I
We all
hear
got
you there.
opinions. But yeah, if you're gonna try to say like, you need to take a video down or else, I'm as you can see, all of my videos have remained up. And there have been several people that have asked me to take several videos down or
Yeah.
else. So
Wow.
it just stupid stuff like that. That's the part that gets me like, why am I even bothering with this crap? If this is what it's going to resort to, like, why am I even going to talk about this? Fine. Then you know what? Not only am I not going to take my video down, I'm going to keep it up,
Hell
but
yeah.
I just won't talk about anything else about you then for the next, I don't know, lifetime of my channel. Like, what do I care?
Right.
Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like it's news and it's getting people talking and it's getting people having conversations. I'm having a conversation with a guy right now that I've never talked to in my entire life, that the only reason we're coming together is because of music and because of the conversation that has been had over the last year. And
Oh,
that to me is a win.
yeah.
Like that's a win for underground music as a whole,
Yeah,
right?
baby. Yeah. I
I don't
love
know.
that. Yeah, what a beautiful way to look at that. Yeah. Joe, this was amazing, man. Thank you for doing this. If you ever want to come down to Kansas City and check out one of these Dip Kiss or Strange shows or something, let me know. I'll set something up. Like I've got, some hookups.
Yeah,
I,
if you got to hook up on security guards, I'm gonna need like 3 or 4 of them.
I got look,
And
I know lots of big muscular dudes that we got you. Like we're around, we keep that heat on us. Don't worry about that. Like we're good to go. Don't you worry about that.
yeah, definitely, man. No,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And thanks for having me on, man. Like this is great. I think you got a great show. Super professional, great host. Yeah, dude,
Thanks, man.
I appreciate it for real, man. Like keep at it, man. Keep at it and keep growing. And don't let the dips frustrate you or make you
Right.
feel like you're not doing something right. Like keep chugging away at it, man. You're doing awesome. I love it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It really does. I'm gonna keep going. It's been 4 years. I'm gonna keep going, keep
Yeah.
plugging along. One day it'll hit, maybe. And if not, whatever. I do this shit for me. I don't do it for anybody else.
Same here, man.
I know you
Same here.
do. Everybody, that was Josh K music.
I want you to go back to the replay and either I am losing my freaking mind,
I'll check
which
it
is
out.
possible.
It's very possible I did that. I don't know. I like you. Are you saying that I'm professional? It keeps cracking me up. I'm the furthest thing from it. Like everybody, this was fun. JoeK music on YouTube, and listen, watch all before you. I can't too late. You've already gotten this far. I can't say before you listen to this. Go let's watch his stuff. I'll say that at the intro. But yeah, JoeK music on YouTube. Watch this stuff on yeah, watch it. Subscribe. This was fun, man. Let's if you ever want to, chop it up again, hit me up. I'm an open book and ready to talk about anything. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's it, man. This
definitely,
was fun. This
definitely,
was fun.
man.
Thank you.
Definitely, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, everyone feel free to go, check out the channel. Tons of content down there, more content coming this year. Yeah, some interesting stuff I think is coming down the pipe. So you can
Nice.
find it at JoeK Music, or if you search Another Day in the Underground, that's kind of like the catchphrase for the podcast. Because at the end of the day, it's just another day in the underground.
Bye.